Well, good afternoon and welcome back again, Realty Pros. Today we have a special treat in store. We are talking about the local market trends here. Today, Curtis Price is going to be leading us in this discussion. We're going to be talking about the market data. We're going to dissect those statistics. We're also going to ask you what it is that you're seeing in the local market. Then we'll dive a little into overcoming some of those obstacles that the market can bring about. And then lastly, we'll close with capitalizing on the local market climate. So leading us in the local market data is Mr. Curtis Price, Right Price Realty Pros. Welcome, Curtis.
Hello, thanks for, I want to say thanks for having me. I'm always here. But yes, I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. The weather is really nice out, so it hasn't gotten too crazy hot and humid in the DMV area. So that's always a nice thing. And I'm really excited about the market, everything that's happening. Even given, as we go into it, I'll give you some more insights on some trends and things that I'm seeing. And great time to be a realtor. So with that being said, I'm not sure, Jasmine, if you can share the stat that you sent over to me so everybody can see it.
Yes, I am. Let's see. Can you guys see this now? I just pulled it up.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes. So they'll be able to follow along, Kurt.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this basically this stat sheet is, as you can see, from Maryland Realtors. It's looking at just basically, housing statistics, what's going on in the market. As you can kind of start to, browse through it and see, as Cardi B would say, everything's up. So everything is looking on the upside for real estate right now, which, I always kind of take the stance, whether it's a hot market or a cold market, I'm always ready to help somebody either buy or sell. It doesn't really matter to me. At the end of the day, I'm here to serve and to help people, regardless of what's actually going on in the market. But it's always good to have data. And these are things that, information that you can kind of keep in your back pocket. So when you're talking with somebody, you can actually refer to, just take average price. So in 2020, the average price was $372,000. Right now we're looking at $429,000. So that is a huge increase of over 15% on the upside of the average home price. And that's powerful information. A lot of this information too is going to really impact and benefit listings. And as you guys know, basically listings are what we're really after. We can do a lot of things with a listing as the agent, but talking to a potential seller, letting them know like, hey, the average price for homes has had a 15% increase in just the past year. And you could let them know too. I mean, as you guys, I'm sure, are seeing, there's no real signs per se of slowing down. The market is extremely hot, extremely aggressive right now. The median price for homes, again, we have a 10% increase, going from 325 up to 360. So not that you have to have all this good information and rattle it off like a sales pitch, just knowing kind of 15% up in the average price, the median price of homes, we've seen a 10% increase, just little nuggets, little tools of information that you can pretty much have in your back pocket. It will make you look more professional. I think anytime somebody starts spitting off statistics, it sounds a little more like, he or she knows their stuff or knows what they're talking about. So yeah, the other, I guess what really stuck out to me was the active inventory and how it dropped. So again, it kind of gives you a peek of, the market, the craziness of the market that we have right now. is because there's not enough inventory. There's not active inventory on the market, which now is driving all the multiple offers and, the things that we're seeing. But for a seller, a potential seller again, hey, if we get your property on the market, it's going to stand out. There's hardly any competition, but there's tons of competition for people buying, So again, just another phenomenal tool, another just good stats, just good data, that the inventory has dropped. The other thing that I like, I guess, is the months of inventory. We know pretty much within our area, 7 days on the market, before it's under contract is a pretty typical what we've been seeing, what's going on. But again, you can have some data, something that you can actually pull, and let, potential seller know. So yeah, does anybody have anything they'd like to ask about, chime in about in regards to the statistics?
What about that? When someone says to you, when is the market going to crash? This mimics back in
Mhm.
2008.
Right. So one of the main things that I will tell people is that the market that we're in right now and what happened in 2008 is absolutely night and day. I guess I'll tell people that in a nutshell, what happened in 2008 was a buildup of a lot of things that were going on within the housing market that artificially inflated homes. People were getting loans that they shouldn't have been able to afford, to be approved for. There are a lot of factors that drove up and artificially inflated the market in 2008. What's happening now is completely different, because people, due to COVID, have come to the realization that, one, they want to get out of that apartment. If there's 4 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm sure that it's been a little stuffy over the past, year and a half. So home ownership is going up. People want to have a larger house or a townhouse. That's what's really been the driving force of this current market versus 2008, which was more which, there's fraudulent stuff going on. There's a lot of things going on in the housing market. So it's not the same. And that's kind of how I'll address it, or I'll tell people, don't look at it the same. We're in 2 entirely different time frames of market, if that helps.
Yes, that did.
Yeah. I mean, if we just want to bounce around and stuff, like, I do see that things will eventually, quote unquote, slow down. I don't see that the market is going to just like all of a sudden plummet. An interesting thing that I've noticed is that I see a upside potential in us, agents being able to get short sales. I do feel, and I mean, this is Curtis, this is my opinion, I do feel that we are going to see a significant upside in the potential areas for pre-foreclosure or getting short sale listings. I think that a lot of people, they were given that option, that if you don't want to pay your mortgage during COVID, because of what was going on, you didn't have to. Not everybody did that, but there are people that did. And I feel that now, as things are opening back up, that you're going to kind of see that swing, and people now, they're underwater or they're behind on their payments. they may not have been paying anyway during COVID because they knew, you know what, we're going to get out of here regardless. And if I don't have to pay my mortgage right now, I'm just not going to pay my mortgage, and we'll see what happens after COVID. But I've noticed personally, not to really go off, but we have access to, I think it's called Realty Track in Bright, that you can go in there, you can put in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and it'll pull all the pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, and bank-owned properties for that particular city. So Upper Marlboro, Maryland, bam, the whole list will come up. I live in Laurel, and I've really seen when I would periodically pop into the Realty Track to just search around and see what was going on with potential short sales, I wouldn't have a lot. There would be maybe you might have maybe 4, if that, but not a lot. Now I literally just pulled it up before I got on the call. There's 25 potential short sales in Laurel, just Laurel. So for me, just looking at it, it's just like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, that's a huge increase of potential short sales that I could now be marketing myself to. So I do think that, if you look at kind of the downside of this post-COVID, or, where we're at, I do see the downside of, unfortunately, there's going to be more people, walking away from the property or possibly losing their home, what have you. But the upside is that we can be of service and now help them not be foreclosed on, get them out of that home, get them in possibly into a new home, or help them find a rental. But most importantly, list that property, get that short sale as a listing. So that's one thing that I've really been kind of keeping my eye on. And I know we've done talks or trainings before with Alan Weiner, our short sale specialist. If you haven't been on a training or really looked at the training material, I know in Brokerment as well, all the scripts. So we have a whole script program all spelled out. You just have to kind of personalize it a little bit, and then just follow the script. You're just going to basically be mailing out some letters, and then you're going to door knock, kind of lead you up to a door knock. But if you haven't looked at that training, I highly recommend that you do and give it a shot. I've done a few of the short sale scripts, where I've looked at the properties, pulled the addresses, and then went through the sequence, and then finished up door knocking. Unfortunately, I haven't got a listing yet, but that hasn't deterred me. But it's a phenomenal tool that we have for our porterhouse agents. And again, Brokerment, the scripts are there, and I'm sure we have a training on video somewhere, like on YouTube. I'm sure Jasmine has uploaded it, either with Alan or just us going over it. But I highly recommend you guys, if you haven't got the training yet, jump on it and check it out. Anybody else want to chime in on anything?
I have another question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did do the Remind search, and I think I chose 10. I chose 10 pre-foreclosures. And, and I went through the steps. I even, I used our document for short sales. Mm-hmm. And I did that and I sent it out May 5th. So you said that you followed up with a door knock after you did your mailing, right?
Well, so I don't know if you did the same one, because there's 3 letters. Did you send 3 letters?
Well, the one that I sent, it was the one where basically it spells out that, foreclosure is not an option. And right. the list of what we could do, in terms of finding them a place to stay and the benefits of why you would not want to do foreclosure. It was that letter that I sent.
Okay.
My pre-foreclosure.
I haven't used that one
But it doesn't matter. I just want to know, get
Yeah,
back to, you said the door knock, that you did a
Yes.
door knock. So my question to you is, when you sent the letter and then you then went to the property that you sent the letter and you did the door knock, what was the outcome?
So I think I had 5 homes. I set it all up where it was like one day, like I'm gonna go ahead and knock them down, like bam, 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 bam. So out of all the door knocking that I did that day,
Mhm.
I only had I only had one person answer the door, which I believe might have been like the son of the owner, who looked shook talking to me. So I didn't really get the owner there. The other one though, I actually spoke to the owner, and she thanked me for the watch, the stopwatch that I sent. And she was like, "Oh, you're the guy you're the person that's been sending the letters." So the campaign that I used is a 3-part like series. So you send letter 1, then you send letter 2. In letter 2, I have like purple yarn, and this is all broken down in the program that we have. So you send letter 1. Basically, I wait. Actually, I'll step all the way back because I add stuff. So I send a postcard. So the list I'm making right now, I'm about to drop postcards in the mail tomorrow. Then I'm going to send letter 1. Then I'm going to send another postcard. Then I'm going to send letter 2. In letter 2, it actually talks about reminding and to tie a string around your finger as a reminder, right? So I have like purple yarn that I will put in that letter.
I like that.
For the string, for them to remember that they need to call me. I'll send another postcard. Then I send letter 3. Letter 3 is like the final letter. And in that letter, I put like a very inexpensive, I got them from Oriental Trading. It's like a little stopwatch, plasticky thing. But the watch references the letter where it talks about time is of the essence. You don't have time. So I put that in that letter. Also with that final letter, what it does is I then will coordinate my calendar, because I'm telling them that I am going to personally knock on their door on, just say, Saturday, the 21st or whatever that date is, at or around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, what have you. And that's what sets up the door knock. So I'm not just kind of not cold calling. I'm not cold knocking. I've been touching them with postcards, letters, all the way leading up. And now, like, I'm coming and I'm going to knock on your door.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then what that does is, in theory, they might be sitting there waiting. Is this guy really going to come knock on my door? And then what I did is, when I went to each property, I had kind of like I didn't have a full CMA, on their house. But I had some information. So even like the document that we were just looking at,
Right.
This is something that, you could print this out. This would be something that you could bring to the door with your door knock, where so nobody was really there. Well, 2 people were there, but the other ones, excuse me, guys. The other ones, what I did is nobody was there. I had door hangers. So I put my door hanger, and I had like an envelope with like information, and I put that like in the crack of their door. And then after that, I followed up essentially with another postcard. So that's kind of how I'm looking at approaching the short sale potential.
Right.
you know, but the script that I'm using, so those 3 letters are all in Brokerman.
Right, okay.
And I do believe that the letter you used is a more like a one sheet, like a one time bam.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Where
Yeah,
this,
it is.
I just like this because it seemed more personal.
Mhm.
You know, and it kind of
Not, yeah,
it sets you up to door knock.
right. Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like a true cold door knock where like, you know, who are you? Versus like the lady that saw me and was like, oh wow, oh, you're the person that's been sending you're the one that's been sending the letters. I'm like, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, you need to sell your house. But it didn't, you know. So yeah, that's the approach that I'm using. I ordered a bunch of postcards through geez. Yeah, I forget I can find it. But they, you know, this company, you can personalize your postcards. They have postcards for, you know, Christmas, they have postcards for potential FISBOs, for short sales, for, you know, they have all kinds of themed postcards. And so I just kind of picked out 4 postcards that fit, you know, the time is of the essence, you know, I can help, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And then, you know, on the back is my picture, you know, some information, nothing crazy. And I like the fact that like, and this is something that, you know, I don't know everybody else, but I like to personally handwrite the address.
That's what I did. Actually,
Yeah.
and I actually addressed each letter with the person's name and not dear homeowner or current homeowner.
Yes.
And I did the same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now in the script that I'm using, the letter is in a handwritten font. So I'm not going to handwrite the letter or handwrite each name. Like, but I did, you know, personalize, because in Realty Track, when you pull it up, I can see, you know, Jane Doe is the owner. So I have like, I'll make like what I'm doing now is I'm making just a whole list of these are the next batch of potential short sales I'm going to go after. So I don't mix anything up. You know, I don't confuse anything. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'll literally lay out, you know, so I have Jane Doe's pile. So I'll address Jane Doe's, the first postcard, I'll address the first letter. I'll kind of have a pack. So as the weeks are going, all I got to do is just pull from this pile, you know, this postcard, but it's going to be the same postcard for all 10 short sales I'm going after. And I'm going to drop all 10 in the mail. You know what I mean? So I'll do kind of like the grunt work or the, you know, the admin work up front for everybody. I'll just sit there one day and just like, you know, just write, you know, address out, or, you know, print out all the letters, print out, you know, for everybody, have them all ready. I'll even address them, you know, I'll put the string in all the envelopes, seal them, you know, I'll have it postmarked. And now, you know, on this date, I'll just go and I'll drop these 10 letters in the mail. And then I just wait. And I know, you know, basically a week from now, I'm going to drop that postcard in the mail. And then, you know, another 3 days, here's the letter. Here's the postcard. Here's the letter. And then I know on this weekend, I'm going to door knock all of them. You know, I'm just going to take a day and just go through and just door knock away and see if I can, you know, yeah.
That makes sense. I looked that up on Brokerman, but the one I used, it was just, it was a one pager.
It's right there with you. If you found that one in Brokerman, the other ones are right there. You just have to click on it and you'll see. It's like, I want to say it's 3. I don't think it's 4 letters. I'm pretty sure it's 3 letters. I just personally added in the postcards just because I wanted to send postcards. I'm like, you know, see my picture. Here's the guy. And then when I'm knocking on the door, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, wow, you did knock. Or like, yeah, I've been sending you the letters, you know, how's everything going? How can I be assistance? You know, how can I help you? You know, it's not too late. Let me help you. And now, you know, going back to, you know, there's a 15% increase in those, the sales price for homes in the area. Like, we can get your home sold in no time. Let me help you out. You don't have to be going towards foreclosure in this market. If anything, how's your credit? Let me send you over to my lender, see if we can get you, pre-approved. We might be even able to afford to buy a new house, and that's kind of where the thing though is to get them comfortable or them ready. And then here you come, knock on the door.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything, any questions or anything you want to throw out there? No? All right. So have you guys been noticing any trends or anything that's been standing out to you guys, like that you want to share or comment on?
Well, construction trends, they're pretty much up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've
And
noticed that
not
as
just
well.
new construction, but also just construction for renovations.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's been going on really. It's like COVID hit and everybody wanted to remodel. I guess because people were still sitting at home and like, you know what, I need to fix up my bathroom finally.
And also adding bathrooms before they sell.
Yep.
And preparation for new sales as well.
Mm-hmm. And those are things too, like when we look at the, that flyer that, the Maryland Realtors. So, again, the average price is going up, so now is a good time to, renovate your kitchen, or, if you did some renovations, if you're interested in selling, you've picked a phenomenal time to sell. The other thing that I'll do too with this particular flyer, social media, it's a good post, so if you follow me on Instagram or I'm not really on Facebook as much as I used to be, but you will see the same flyer posted on my Instagram page, if not today, tomorrow. So again, good information, a good way to kind of keep yourself relevant out there to the folks that are following you, that you are a realtor, so we don't want to be secret agents at Porterhouse. I don't personally bombard my page with real estate, but I try to sprinkle enough that I'm a realtor. And I think that that's a way that within the social media space, you kind of can stand out, but you still remain, I want to say normal, but you remain kind of genuine is the better word. Like, so I have pictures or posts of me, gardening. I love gardening. I love growing stuff. So I have posts of me gardening. I'll have posts of me maybe working out or something, posts of the kids. And then I have a home under contract. And then I have a post of a cicada. And I have a, so I'll do posts that, that softly start letting people, remember that I do sell homes. I do help people sell homes, buy homes. I am a realtor, but that's not all you see from me, and that's just my strategy that I use. But this is a phenomenal tool, so whether you print it out and mail it, or you post it, if you're going to door knock, this would be something that I would highly recommend that you bring, so you have something that you can give them. Even building a list, or if you have folks that you are kind of like, in contact with, I think that mail, and we're going to see more of it probably over the next 5 years, that the post office, like your mailbox, is like a golden opportunity to reach people. I think we're just being so bombarded with digital content. You know, like, I mean, everybody on here, I know you scroll, you know, through if TikTok, Instagram, something, and what holds you? You know, there's so many posts, there's so much, you know, content, or not even really content, but just stuff coming at us. That when's the last time you opened up your mail, found a letter that wasn't a bill? You know what I mean? Like that you're like, oh wow, oh look at this, oh it's from Curtis. Oh, I remember that guy. Put it down, go back, maybe 6 months later, get another mail, something in the mail, or now they want to buy, or now they want to list. And it's kind of like that, you know what? Let me call that guy Curtis. Because the mailbox, I think, is a phenomenal tool. That's why I like the short sale script and all the letters. You know, there's something with that I haven't got one yet, but I will, you know, because I just be diligent. You know, I'll keep plugging away at it until I do get one. And if I do get a listing and I sent, you know, 100 letters, but if I get a listing for 300,000, I think those 100 letters are well worth that one listing that I got that I'll get, you know, for 300,000 or more. But that's something too, you know, looking at this particular flyer, you know, these are things that you can just even constant contacts. So this will be another good tool. Like, you know, you don't have to make it too long, drawn out, but, you know, get the image, put it up in your constant contact, send it out to your sphere, your list. Like, hey, some cool, you know, some new market, you know, market data for April. If you're ready to list and sell your property, now is the time. Bam. You know, so I would highly recommend you guys, you know, reuse, save it, post it, you know, do something with it to your sphere of influence. So anybody else got any questions or?
Curtis, this is Aurelia. Thank you for the information. That was some really good information. I just took a short sale foreclosure class this week. It was Monday and Wednesday from PG Carr.
Okay.
And so some of the information you were touching on as far as whether this is the same as far as the market, they even gave us a couple of movies to look at so we can know the history of what actually happened during the mortgage crash in 2008. So it gave you a better understanding. And like you say, it's different, but the main thing is to look out, like you said, for the short sales and things that may be coming along the pipe when these forbearances lift.
Now,
So
did they
thanks
mention?
for sharing the information.
Yeah, did they
time.
mention anything, Aurelia, about the like when they think, you know, all these things are going to start lifting and banks are going to start knocking on people's doors?
No, they didn't really cover the timeline of it, but they said that it's coming down the pipe and that you know, we should be looking out for a lot of short sales hitting the market.
Yep.
And try to get ahead of the game because they are coming.
Yes.
For people who may potentially lose their homes because of it.
Right.
Some people may be in a position, and that may be why you mentioned something too about the shortage of the market. Because like you say, I have been looking at that and pulling up different areas and that's what's driving the prices up. But they also mentioned about PG County in particular, because they said PG County and Baltimore were the two hardest. It was 5 altogether that were hit the most during the mortgage crisis. But they said PG County and Baltimore were the hardest. Were two of the 5.
Oh, wow.
And this is worldwide. And they were saying that, PG County, the thing about PG County, they said they're just getting up to, I guess, normalizing the amount their homes should have been because it's been stagnated. While other places have been growing, PG County has been the ones that's been least, that's been growing. So we're just getting where we're normalizing that. And now we're may have to deal with, or will have to deal with the forbearances. and people being in a situation of short sales or maybe foreclosures.
Sure. I mean, and really, guys, that's really powerful, Aurelia. Like, it's coming. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and then, so with that, with that being
and
said,
it's coming soon.
how you want to position yourself, you know, um, the way I'm kind of looking at the whole short sale thing is I live in Laurel. Laurel's convenient for me. So I would rather door knock. Actually, one of the houses I door knocked, literally I could walk to from my neighborhood, which to me was kind of cool. I was like, oh, wow. Like, the first one was like, I made a right and then another right. And I got out the car, because after that, I, went out to the other homes. But, you don't have to look at, cast a huge net of all PG County. You can laser beam this in on Realty Track and, make it to a specific niche, a specific area that, that you want to kind of become that lead authority. You want to be the realtor that everybody knows in your town, and I see the short sale as a way of doing that. It's going to start, it will force you to mail. It'll force you to put things in the mail. It's going to have your branding, or it should have, something in there with, you. And I just see it as a huge opportunity. I personally have had a few short sales on the listing side and on the buying side that I've worked with. And the listing side, it was a pain, but it was a pain because of the situation. But I liked, and it took a year, but I liked how it worked. It's kind of like the what was that appliance? You could set it and forget it. So like if you get the listing on the short sale, that's kind of the challenge, right? But once you get the listing, put it out there on the market, once you're ratified, once you're under contract, we basically just take that ratified contract and give it to our short sale specialist, and then that's it. So when I first handed it over to Alan and his team, all of a sudden I started, they included me in these emails. And so I'm very big on like being on top of it. Like I always look at things as like a hot potato, so if someone emails me, they need a extension, they need a document, an addendum, whatever. I got the hot potato. I need to throw it back. Like I'll do it here. I don't want to hold on to it. And in the beginning of the short sale, I was seeing all these emails coming through. And then I even had to talk to Shay. I was like, am I supposed to be doing something? like I don't understand what's going on, because what was happening was Alan's legal team, they were negotiating with the banks for, getting the price so everybody was happy. And Shay was like, no, just, you'll know when you have to do something. And sure enough, it took a year. I had a few buyers, things fell through. I won't go into it. But it was kind of nice because I look at it as like marinating money or marinating check, where typical, transaction, put on the market, it's under contract, we got a 30-day countdown, go to closing. Buying side, it's the same thing. You got to shop, find a property, under contract, 30 days. The short sale, it could take 60 days. It could take 5 months. But it's nice when out of the blue now, I was like, oh, I have a settlement. Like that thing finally, this property I've been working on, I've had 3 different buyers. It finally is closing. And so that's kind of what I look at and I see with the short sales, that it's, I like that aspect where, you still are out there on your grind, trying to, get a listing or help get a new buyer, help somebody buy or sell. But the short sale is kind of like those deals that you can kind of have just marinating, percolating along, and then bam, it closes. And then bam, you might have another one that closes. And I can just see how, I'm sure high performing agents have all kinds of things popping. You know, they might have a settlement today, but then next week they might have 3 settlements. You just don't realize that 2 of those settlements they might have been working on, you know, for 8 months. But it just so happens that they lined up and now they had 3 settlements in 1 week, you know. So I see the short sale as being that nice complement to your real estate business. And I'm sold that we're about to see a huge influx of potential short sales come onto the market. So even investors, you know, if you have investors, you know, this too could be a good time because there's going to be a upside of a potential short sales. And, you know, first time home buyers really, unless that first time home buyer just cash heavy, you know, can afford to buy, you know, the bank isn't going to loan, you know, really money to a first time home buyer. So there's going to be, you know, if you know investors, kind of prep them, are like, hey, you know, I'm really starting to see more foreclosures starting to hit the market, or short sales, you know, hitting the market. When are you looking to, you know, add another property to your portfolio? You know, so yeah. Hope I wasn't just rattling on.
No, I just want to comment on what you said as well, as far as, you know, Porterhouse having a avenue with Alan as our short sale specialist, because that was another thing, just having to go through that and having to track all of that and having another way where once you get that client, you have a way that they're kind of keeping track with the banks and knowing exactly what documentation that's needed and all of that. And, you know, moving it along on your behalf and just keeping you updated.
Yes.
So that's a blessing, because they were just talking about the role of the REO and how, you know, how tedious, you know, that role is, as far as, you know, managing the house, keeping the electric on, the utilities on, maintaining the home until, you know, they get a buyer, and all of the things that they have to do, you know, behind the scenes. And when, you know, when that situation happened, how many they had, you know, houses they had on the books where they had to put out a lot of money before they even saw anything. So like you say, the process is sometimes it can be stretched out. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these people are not putting their houses on the market, because they know the position that they're already in. They were also saying, for those who were already in, they gave an example of somebody was already in that situation where they were getting ready to foreclose on them, and then the COVID hit. And so,
wow.
and they had a buyer, but that buyer that fell through. And so they're saying they're going to be the first on the list, you know, that the banks
Right.
are going to hit, because they were going to foreclose on them prior to this situation. And they're just waiting for that time frame.
Yeah, and it's coming.
So it is a market. It is an area, like you say, that we need to focus on.
Sure. The other nice thing too with guys with Alan Wiener's company, you know, with the short sale specialist, is that's also a way that, you know, something that you definitely bring up with that potential short sale client, you know, that listing, is to take the stress off of them. You know, you don't have to worry about anything outside of, they're going to need to provide, you know, Alan a lot of information on the front side, you know. So once, you know, but you can, you know, letting them know we have a legal team, you know, we have somebody that we work with directly that is going to negotiate with the banks, that is going to do all of these things and work for you on your behalf. You don't have to stress about it. You know, you don't have to worry about it. The other nice thing too with a short sale is if they list with you, once that property is listed, it immediately stops the foreclosure process. So that's another thing, you know. I mean, I don't want to kind of go off into a full short sale discussion, but it's realty talks. So we're talking real estate. But that's kind of a selling point that we can have, is that, you know, once the property's listed, it stops that foreclosure process, because now the bank sees that they're trying to sell the property. At the end of the day, the banks aren't trying to be landlords. You know, they don't want to own the property. They do want you to sell it. So by it being on the market, it just stops that foreclosure process. So, you know, you'll have, you know, talking to listing, you know, Joe, like, Joe, you got me. I'm a realtor. I'm gonna do everything I can to get this property on the market, sold as quickly and as we can. And then what we're gonna do is hand it over to our legal team, our short sale specialists, and then they're gonna even negotiate and make sure that the banks are taken care of, everything is taken care of on your behalf, so that once this property does close, you're gonna walk away and not have to worry about anything, you know? So again, it goes into, you know, we have a legal team that is gonna work on your behalf. Because people are, you know, people get scared. People are, you know, worried about what's gonna happen. And again, it just kind of allows you to stand out and show how you can be of service and make take this headache off their hand, you know? But yeah, I'm excited about and just looking at Laurel, you know, because I would periodically look, you know, and I'd kind of be upset, like, hey, ain't nothing in Laurel. Like, there's no short sales in Laurel. Like, it might be one, like, you know, like, all right. And then literally, like, I'd say a few weeks ago, I was like, let me check. There's like 30 listings, you know, 30 potential properties. I was like, oh, I was like, there it is. I was like, COVID's coming to an end. I was like, and here we go. So I'd highly recommend us get ready for some potential short sale deals in our near future.
Hey, Curtis, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is Kermon. Listen.
Yeah, what's up, Kermon?
I'm doing well, man. First of all, great job, man. You give me so much information. I got notes here coming up, yang. But anyway, two quick questions for you.
Yeah.
When you identify possible short sale, and you probably already kind of answered this, but I just want to be clear. When you identify a possible short sale, you're working in that market. Do you have a specific marketing piece that you send out that identifies that, it just talks directly about that, or do you kind of use phone, or do you use social media? How do you narrow that scope, and how do you actually market that particular person?
Yeah. So are you talking about the short sales or like the social media posts?
Well, I'm talking mainly about, well, kind of like both, but mainly the short sale aspect of it.
Yeah. So what I do is really, like, wherever you live or whatever area that you're, let's say you're interested in, as you guys know, I'm Laurel. So I literally just pulled up Laurel in Realty Track. And what it does is it lists all the properties that are pre-foreclosure, that have been foreclosed on, and that are bank owned. And then I'll just deselect the bank owned and the foreclosed, because I just want the pre-foreclosure. I just want the short sales, right? So those pre-foreclosures are the short sales. And then because there's so many, like right now there was like 25 of them, it will even have like a little hot on fire icon on certain properties that it's kind of wild, because you can then click on the house. It'll pull it up. It might have a picture, it might not, but it will have all the detailed information of the homeowner, the bank, if there's a trust, like all the meaty, juicy information for the property right there.
Okay.
They don't really provide a phone number or an email for the owner on that particular in Realty Track, or at least that I've seen. Right. I know that we can use, I think it's RPR. There's some other things that we can then use for, say, email, phone number, but just for that, I just literally will write that address down, because now I'm compiling my list. So this is about to be my next campaign, basically, Kermon. Like, so I'm like, all right, this one's a hot one, this one's a hot one. And I literally just write down all the addresses. And then I have this as my frame of reference because these are all the letters that I'm going to need to print, all the postcards I'm going to need to write. And then I just kind of like, I don't have a spreadsheet or anything like that. I just know, step one is going to be this postcard. And then I'm going to send out all the postcards on one day, and I just kind of just, meticulously just go through. And so the next, call of action is going to be to mail that letter. And then I just mail everybody that letter. So I don't try to get emails or make it too complicated in a way. This particular script is specifically to get you to knock on that door. You know what I mean? Like you gotta knock on the door. So
but it's specific to the short person who's doing the short sale. It's not generic. It's more specifically geared to short sale. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. So those letters that we have in Brokerman, they're done for you. You know what I mean? Like, so they literally are, everything is about a short sale. The fear, I know you're stressed. I know you're going through, you're worried. All these letters are pre-made specifically for a short sale.
Right.
Yep. The postcards aren't part of that series. It's something that I just adopted because of the you want to try to touch somebody. I want to try to touch somebody 7 times. But you want to have like 7 touches of content of something that you can, mail out or do to get people to remember you. That's why I added in the postcards. So those 3 letters now went to 3 letters plus 4 postcards. I got my 7 touches. Right. So that's why I sprinkled in the postcards. And so I just went and what I'll do is I'll snap off photos and post them in the WhatsApp of the postcards I have, the pictures. And because there's tons of different ones. I just picked ones that, I don't know, kind of nice and I can help. I'm here to help you. Time is of the essence,
Right.
And I just add those in. But I will do it where everyone's, all these 5 properties, everybody's going to get this postcard for, for step 1. Everybody's getting this letter for step 2. Everybody's getting this postcard, step 3, et cetera, et cetera. Now everybody's going to get their door knocked on this day. Right. And I just kind of set it like that.
So systematic.
Yep.
So let me ask you one last question. I hope this one will be something you can answer very quickly because I know we're at the end of time. But I know you do buyers, you do listings, all that. What are you finding in regards to this situation where everybody's doing a lot of no contingencies, people are bidding up, and also are you finding that a lot of your listings are requesting conventional loans only instead of FHA, and are you advising people to do that?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that where you are having on the listing side, people are they only want conventional or cash. So I mean, the listing that will close on Tuesday, we were only really, it was a condo and we were only really looking for conventional or cash, but I didn't put it in my remarks of like, people still submitted FHA, loans. On the buying side though, I have been asking Michael Cooper, like, hey, can this person go conventional? And if he can, if he can finagle, work those numbers out where, they could go conventional on this one, then that's the loan that, that's the vehicle that we're going to put out there for that particular buyer.
So do you find yourself, advising your listings to only go conventional, if you know, if it's a choice, are you advising that, or are you just kind of saying, let's just see what comes in and then we'll decide?
Yeah, I'm actually advising, just because from the various training that we've had with Porterhouse, conventional is just a stronger, tends to be a little meatier of an offer, from the financing side.
Okay.
Not that FHA aren't strong loans and that, you can't get a great buyer with the FHA loan. But conventional and then cash,
Right.
and I mean, and that's one of those things too, that, you just got to like prep that FHA buyer, you know what I mean? Like, hey, it's just extremely competitive, extremely aggressive, but not saying that we can't get you a house,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. I think all that's going to come to a head though, I don't know exactly when. I don't see this kind of market lasting for another 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm just being speculative, but I do see it, a little tsunami coming of short sales. And that might be also a way that we could, again, this would be more Michael Cooper, but how can we get a first-time home buyer into a short sale? And that's something I'm sure Jasmine and Shay, would be able to get more into, or they may even have the answers to that. But like, if we are about to see an influx of potential short sales on the market, can we start prepping our buyers? Can we start to even, because I'm pretty sure that most of the property searches we're putting out there for our buyers, more than likely, unless they're an investor, aren't going to have a short sale, in that search. Could that be an avenue as more, potential short sales start coming on the market? And that too might take that pressure off of, 20 offers on one property, because now people, we might be able to get that first time home buyer, into a short sale. Then it may not be as competitive, because nobody's looking at them unless you're really an investor. So that would be a good question for Michael Cooper, and Jasmine and Shay. I don't know the answer on that, but that's something that could greatly benefit us, if we could.
That's a great way to close out the discussion. And kudos to you, Curtis. Kudos to everybody who's participated in the discussion today. This has been phenomenal. You guys have done a great job. A lot of great input. Curtis, you did a stellar job with presentation. So we are going to close out. We're 3 minutes past our time, but you guys are in for another treat, because for the next couple Thursdays, Alan Weiner is going to be hosting us for our Realty Talks. So you guys are going to get a deep dive. For those that are new to short sales, you're going to learn about short sales, where to find them and how to market to them. For those that are a bit more adept with short sales, you're going to learn about the provisions of the CARES Act and what things sellers are actually facing. So you're going to be able to dialogue and speak to it in a professional way after the next couple weeks training with Alan Weiner. So to that end, we're going to go ahead and end there for today. I want to honor you guys' time and thank you for carving out the time to join for training today. I want to let you get back to being productive with everything else that you have to do. Retain this information. It will be posted to Porterhouse's YouTube channel, as are all of your videos. So go back and listen to it, just in case you got on a little bit late. You may have been a little bit late getting on, but you don't have to miss the information. So it will be there for your convenience. If you guys need anything, or if you think of anything after the call, you can just give me a call, shoot us an email, because we're here. Great job again, Curtis. And you guys, we will see you back same time, same place next Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.